All right, we're on to our next little lecture in genetics. We're on to Punnett squares. Punnett squares. Not going to be any notes in this one. I'm just going to kind of show you how to do these things. So this right here, the little four square one, the easy ones, this is a mono hybrid. Mono means one. So in this Punnett square, we're only looking at one trait, eye color, brown or blue eyes. Over here, it's a dihybrid cross. We're looking at two traits at once. So we're looking at the shape of the seeds. They can be round seeds or they could be wrinkled seeds. But at the same time, we're also looking at the color. They could be yellow or they could be green. So the only difference between this one, we're looking at two traits at once. So now our genotypes, remember the genotypes for a monohybrid is just two letters, like big B, little b. But now with a dihybrid cross, since we're looking at two traits at once, our new genotypes are going to be four letters. Two R's for either round or wrinkled, and then two Y's for either yellow or green. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do these things. All right, I'm going to do a couple practice problems to get you the hang of it. All right, so in squirrels, gray fur is dominant. Big G for gray. So you only need one gray allele in order for the squirrel to have gray fur. And white is recessive, little g for white fur. So the only way you can have white fur as a squirrel, you got to have the genotype of little g, little g. All right, so in this problem, we're going to cross a homozygous gray squirrel. Homozygous gray. So step one, find the genotype of this parent. Homozygous means same, and since it's gray, it's going to be big G, big G. All right, so there's the genotype of one of the parents. And what's the other one? The other one is a heterozygous gray squirrel. So if you know what heterozygous means, you got a chance. If not, you're just guessing. Heterozygous means different. So this squirrel, maybe it's the mom, big G, little g. Actually, since we'll say this one's the dad, and I'm going to type it in blue. Big G, little g. All right, so you got the mom. She's big G, big G. She's gray, but she's homozygous dominant. Dad squirrel over here. He's also gray, but he's heterozygous. All right, so step two, we're going to put the parents. Oh, I wanted to keep that one blue. We're going to put the parents' alleles either on the top or on the sides. I'll put the mom's alleles on the sides. It doesn't matter. Sides or the top doesn't matter. All right, so the mom, she has two of the same alleles. She's homozygous. So half of her baby squirrels, she's going to give this big G, and the other half, she's going to give her other big G. Now, dad over here, he's got two different alleles. So half of his baby squirrels are going to get the big G dominant allele, and the other half are going to get the little g recessive allele. All right, there it is. And now it's just filling in the boxes. I'll make these. So these are the baby squirrels that are inside these boxes. All right, this one's going to be big G, homozygous dominant. This one's going to get a big G from mom, little g from dad. And then this squirrel's going to get big G from mom, big G from dad. And this squirrel's going to get a big G from mom on the left and a little g from mom or dad at the top. Genotypic ratio, you just count them up. How many? So there's four. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. How many of them are big, homozygous dominant? I see 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4 is the same as 1/2, which is the same as 50%. But I'll go 2 out of 4. We'll have the genotype of big G. And the other 2 out of 4 is going to be the other ones right over here. So the other 2 out of 4 are going to be big G, little g. All right, so we'll type that right over here. All right, the other 2 out of 4 or 1/2 or 50% will have the genotype of big G, little g. Phenotypic ratio, what do these squirrels all look like? Since they all have at least one dominant allele, that's all you need. So all of them, 100% or 4 out of 4 of these squirrels are going to be gray fur. All right, we'll try a couple more. All right, another example. In humans, tongue rolling is a dominant trait. If you can do that with your tongue, it's a dominant trait. So big R for can roll. That's dominant allele, can roll. And little r is the recessive can't roll allele. All right, so we're going to cross two people. Step one is always find the genotype of the parents. And since this is a monohybrid cross, the genotype is going to be two letters, two alleles. You got one from mom, one from dad. All right, cross a heterozygous person. Heterozygous. If you know what it means, you got a chance. If not, you're just guessing. Heterozygous means different. So I need two different R's. Big R, little r. So that's from mom. She can roll her tongue because she does have one dominant allele. And we're going to say this other one's dad. So I'm going to put in blue. We're going to cross the mom with a person who cannot roll their tongue. Cannot roll. Well, since not being able to roll is recessive, there's only one possible genotype he can have in order to not be able to roll his tongue. He's got to be little r, because rolling is dominant. If you have one dominant allele, you're going to be able to roll your tongue. I'll put dad's alleles on the side. So half of his kids, he's going to give his little r, and they're the same, so it don't really matter. The other half is going to give a little r. Now the mom over here, she's big R, little r, so she has two different alleles. So half of her kids, she's going to give their dominant tongue rolling allele, and the other half of her kids are going to get the recessive non-tongue rolling allele. I'm going to show you something that'll save some time on these harder ones. Since these are both little r's, we don't have to do it twice. These up here are different, big R, little r. But since they're both little r's, we can cross out one of these rows because 2 out of 4 is the same as 1 out of 2. They're both a half. They're both 50%. All right, so now it's just filling in the boxes. All right, so this kid got the big R from mom, little r from dad, so that kid can roll his or her tongue. And this kid got the little r from mom and the little r from dad, so this kid cannot. Genotypic ratio, you're just counting them up. So look, how many of them out of 2 have the genotype of big R, little r? I see 1 out of 2. If we'd have done this one, it would have been 2 out of 4. But 1 out of 2 and 2 out of 4, it's the same thing. They're both 50%. So genotypic ratio, 1 out of 2 or 50% or 1/2 will have the genotype of big R, little r. And the other 1/2 will have the genotype of little r, little r. Phenotypic ratio, basically, can they roll their tongue? Yes or no. And this person on the left, since they got a dominant allele, this person will be able to roll the tongue, where this person over here on the right with 2 little r's will not be able to roll their tongue. So phenotypic ratio is going to be 1/2 of their kids, or 50%, can roll their tongue, and the other 1/2 or 50% can't roll. All right, so there's 2 of them. All right, so now here's the little more difficult one, the dihybrid. Di means 2. So the only difference between the dihybrid and a monohybrid is now we're looking at 2 traits at once. So trait 1, we're looking at the shape of the seeds. Are they round or are they wrinkled? Round is dominant, wrinkled is recessive. But at the same time, we're also going to look at the color of the seed. Yellow allele is dominant and green allele is recessive. So now since we're looking at 2 traits at once, we can't just use 4 boxes. Now we need to have 16 different boxes because there's a lot of different combination of alleles. All right, so step number 1 is always find the genotype of the parents. So right here it says find the genotype for a plant that is heterozygous round and hybrid yellow. All right, so if you know what heterozygous and hybrid means, this is no problem. So remember, there's going to be 4 alleles in our genotype now. 4 alleles, because there's going to be 2 for the seed shape, round or wrinkled, and 2 alleles for seed color, yellow or green. All right, so heterozygous round. Heterozygous means different, so I need 2 R's. I need a big R, little r. There's your heterozygous round. Hybrid yellow. Remember, hybrid means the same thing as heterozygous. It means you have 2 different alleles. So hybrid yellow is going to be big Y, little y. And voila, there you have the genotype of the first parent. It's 4 letters, 2 alleles for the seed shape and 2 alleles for the seed color. All right, so now always the hardest part. Find the possible allele combinations in the gametes. All right, so all that is, it's the letters or alleles that's going to go above each of these columns and beside each of these rows. Now, so we're going to have 2 alleles, one for the shape of the seed, one for the color of the seed. All right, so we're going to put this parent right here on top. So you can see they're he or she, we're going to say this is the female plant. Yes, there's male and female plants. Males have pollen. All right, so this one's heterozygous in both traits. Big Y, big R, little r. So what you need to know is I need 2 letters above each of these columns, and I need 2 letters or alleles besides each of these rows. And they got to be 2 different letters. That's Mendel's principle of segregation. So for example, the R's, big R, little r. Half the plants are going to get the big R allele, half the plants are going to get the little r allele, but they're not getting both because they're getting one from each parent. All right, so we use what's called the FOIL method. You don't have to use it, but FOIL. In order to make sure you get all of the alleles, use FOIL. All right, so F stands for first. All right, so this Y right here, that's the first Y. That's the first R. So that's our first possible allele combination. Big Y, big R. So we got to make sure we get all of them. O stands for outside. All right, so now outside. So this Y is on the outside, the big Y, and the little r is on the outside. It's on the outside. So big Y, little r, that's another combination. Big Y, little r. Big Y, little r. All right, we're done with the big Y. Big Y cannot go with the little y because Mendel's principle of segregation. You don't give both the Y's. Now we're going to move on to the little y. So the O stands for the inside. So you can see little y and big R, those are both on the inside. All right, so that's another different combination of alleles. Little y, big R. Now there's only one more different combination we got, and the L stands for last. So this Y, this is the last Y moving from left to right, and that's the last R moving from left to right. So our final different combination is little y, little r. All right, that's all the different combination of Y's and R's we can have. So remember, I don't want to see y up here or r because no, those separate from each other. You give a Y and an R. You don't give both Y's, you don't give both R's. All right, we'll put the other plant on the side and I'll change it to blue so it shows that it's the male. All right, so the other one has, this one's genotype's a little easier because it's big Y, homozygous dominant. So now there's only going to be two different combination of alleles. Either one of these big Y's can go with the big R. Either one. So we're going to go big Y, big R, big Y, big R. Now, if you want to do it again, either one of the big Y's can go with a little r. So that's another different combination. Big Y, little r. Now that's really all the combinations there are. Now we could do two more repeats. We can go with another big Y with a big R and another little y or big Y with little r. All right, but since we have some repeats, this is going to save us a little time. You can see how there's two big Y, big R's. We don't need to do it twice. Let's scratch out one of them. And we have two of the big Y, little R's. We don't need to do it twice. Let's scratch it out. So now we've saved a little work because now we only have 8 boxes to fill in. All right, so let me go ahead and do this. So I'll show you how to fill it in. All right, so let me put it in black. All right, so keep your Y's together, keep your R's together. Put the dominant alleles first. So this one's going to be big Y, big Y, big R, big R. All right, barely fits in there. This one's going to be big Y from the left. Oh, can't see. Big Y from the top. Big R, little r. This one's going to be big Y from the left, little y from the top, big R, big R. This one's going to be big from the left, little from the top, big from the left, little from the top. And then we got 4 more. Keep the big ones going first. So big Y from the top, big Y from the left, big R from the top, little r from the left, big, little. And this one's going to be big Y from the left, little y from the top, big R from the top, little r from the side. And the last one, big Y from the left, little y from the top, and little. Boom. So there you go. That's filling in the boxes. So I've completed this dihybrid cross. Now we could have done these down here at the bottom as well. But remember, like 2 out of 16 is the same as 1 out of 8. They're the same percentage. So we can save a little work by crossing them out when there's repeats. Now you can see on the top, we can't cross any out going down because these are all different. There is no repeats with this parent at the top. All right, I pretty much did this on the last slide. I filled in all the boxes, so I don't really need to do it again. I just want to show you this one last time. So look, the genotype of this plant right here, big R, big Y, little y. Since it's heterozygous in both, that's why this one has 4 different combination of alleles. So remember, here they are. The big R can go with the big Y. That's 1. The big R can also go with the little y. Now we're done with the big R because the big R cannot go with the little r because Mendel's principle of segregation. You give one or the other, you don't give both into your gametes. But now we got the little r. Little r can go with the big Y. That's a 3rd different combination. And little r can also go with the little y. All right, so those are the 4 different allele combinations in the gametes. Remember, these are the gametes up here. These 2 letters, these two. Those are the alleles in the gametes, the reproductive cells. Now this guy right here, he's heterozygous as far as seed shape, but he's homozygous dominant as far as the color of the seed. So this is why this person only has 2 different combinations. The big R can go with either one of the big Y's because they're the same. And the little r can go with either one of the big Y's because they're the same. So remember, whenever you have repeats, we can scratch out one of the repeats, scratch out one of the repeats. So now we're down to 8 boxes instead of 16. All right, so I already showed you how to fill this in. This would be big R, big Y, big Y. This would be big R, big Y, little y, and so on. All right, so now I'm going to try one for real. This is an actual problem that is on our actual written part of our exam that we'll take this week or next week. Remember, I have 6 different versions, so don't just memorize this one because 1 in 6 chance you'll get this one. Anyways, all right, so we got step number 1 is always find out the genotype of the parents. So we're going to say this first one is the mom. So we're going to have 2 letters, 2 alleles for as far as dimples, no dimples. And then we'll have 2 more letters in the genotype as far as brown eyes or blue eyes. All right, so we're gonna say this is the mom. She's hybrid dimples. Hybrid dimples. I got to turn that into two letters. All right. So hybrid means the same as heterozygous. It means you have two different D's. Big D, little D. All right, now it says she's true breed blue eyes. True breed, I'm not going to use this term, but it means the same as homozygous. But if you see, the only way you can have blue eyes, since it's recessive, you got to have two little b's. Because if you have one big brown eyed allele, you're going to have brown eyes. So true breed blue eyes, little b, little b. All right, so I found the genotype of mom. Now we're going to find the genotype of dad. All right, so the dad is no dimples. Now, once again, dimples is recessive. So the only way you could have no dimples is you got to have two little d's. Little d, little d. That'll give you no dimples. Because if you have one big D, since it's dominant, you're going to have dimples. Heterozygous brown eyes. All right, heterozygous means different. So I need two different B's, big B, little b. All right, I found the genotype of the parents. All right, so now the first one we're going to do, we're going to say this is the mom over here. So we don't need to do this and we don't need to do this because we're going to find the gametes. We're going to put them up here on the top and then we're going to put them on the side. I'm going to put this one on the top. So how many different combination of D's and B's can we have? So since this person, the mom, is homozygous recessive for eye color, blue eyes, there's only going to be two different combinations. The big D can go with either one of the little B's. So I'll put that here. Big D, little b. All right. So now we got the little d. The little d can go with either one of the little b's. So we got little d, little b. Those are the only two combinations. Now we couldn't do the other ones. We could do a repeat. We can go big D goes with a little b again. And we could say little d goes with a little b again. But we don't really have to. Since we have some repeats, we have two of these, I can scratch one out. We have two of these, I can scratch one out. All right, so now we're down to 8 boxes. All right, now we do the dad over here. He's homozygous, no dimples. So since he's got little d, there's only going to be two combination of alleles, not four. It's always 1, 2, or 4. It's never 3. All right, so for this one, either one of the little d's can go with the big B. That is one combination. So we can have little d, big B. And then one of the little d's can go with the little b. There's only two combinations here, little d, little b. And once again, if you want to do repeats, you can. We can do another little d, big B, and we can do another little d, little b. Remember, since we have some repeats, we have two of these, I can scratch this one out. We have two little littles, so I can scratch these two out. Now I'm down to 4 boxes instead of 16. It's going to be so much easier. All right, now it's just filling in the boxes. Keep the D's together, keep the B's together, and put the big letter first. Big D from the top, little d from the side. Big B from the left, little b from the top. There's one genotype. This one's little, big B, little b. All right, we got half of them. This one's going to be big D from the top parent, little d from the side, and little. And the last one is going to be little. All right, genotypic ratio. It's just saying how many of them we're going to have these specific genotypes. So I'm putting a little star here. How many of them have the genotype of big, little, big, little? I see 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4. So it's 1 out of 4 is going to have the genotype of big, little, of these. Big, little, big, little. All right, so we're done with that one. And then we do the next one. How many of them out of 4 have this genotype? Little, big, little. Only 1. So it's 1 out of 4 again, 25%. 1 out of 4 or 25% will be little, big, little. And then we do the next one. This one. How many of them are big D, little b, little b? I only see 1 out of 4. So they're all going to be 1 out of 4. So 1 out of 4 is going to be big, little. And then the last one is right here. There's only one of these. Little. Homozygous recessive in both. And it's 1 out of 4 have that genotype of little. Phenotypic ratio. All right, let's see. Let me change my drawing to red. All right, let's go green. All right, so this person's going to have dimples and brown eyes. This person's dimples and brown eyes, and there's only one person because this person's going to be no dimples and brown. This person's going to have dimples and blue. This guy's going to have no dimples and blue. All right, so this person here is going to have dimples because he has a dominant allele and brown eyes. So 1 out of 4 of their kids will have dimples plus brown. All right, so we'll go to the next one. This one right here, this person's got two little D's, so no dimples, but brown eyes. No dimples, but brown eyes. 1/4, 1/4, or 25% are going to have that phenotype. 1/4 of their kids will be no dimples plus brown. Then we go to the next one. This one right here. This person's got a big D, so they're going to have dimples. They got two little B's, so they're going to have blue eyes. Dimples and blue eyes. 1 out of 4 are going to have dimples and blue eyes. All right, so 1/4 of their kids, or 25%, will have dimples plus blue eyes. And the last one's this guy right here. Little d, so that's no dimples. Little b, so that's blue eyes. So 1 out of 4 of their kids, on average, 25%, 1 out of 4, will have no dimples plus blue eyes. And there you have it, folks. Now for regular bio, these are, let's put blue. This one's extra credit for regular bio. Honors, you're going to have to know this. All right, so we're going to be practicing these a lot. So if you don't really get it right now, don't worry. We're going to practice it a lot. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. You're going to have a little quiz time coming up right now. So hopefully you took notes or at least watch and understand how to do it. And I'll talk to you next time.